This video is so overdue. Sorry, I'm just literally the worst, like, YouTuber. Hated that. Nah, sorry, scratch that. I'm literally just the worst person in the whole entire world. But if I'm gonna be honest, doing this video isn't really my thing. Like, vlogging is so much fun, but the thought of sitting down and having to like film something is just a bit like, it's a bit, nope, I don't really, I'm hot under the collar. Can you guys tell? All right, ladies and gents, welcome back. This is the very overdue story time of what happened when Hannah and I went to Wollongong for the Yours and Ours festival. Yeah, I did vlog it. It was the last video that I posted, so I'll leave that link down below so you can get a bit of a visual. But I've managed to grab some videos and some like screenshots of text messages. So hopefully, even if you don't want to watch that video, this will still be an entertaining story time for you all and I can flesh it out. I'm hitting literally a notebook down here because I'm not joking. I wrote down talking points. Like I wrote down the narrative of what happened because I was that PTSD'd from the whole entire thing. So I'm going to start from the beginning, go through like I'm doing a fucking TED talk. And yeah, I don't know. I feel intimidated. I don't know why. I don't know. Okay, this. Let's jump into it, ladies. It's going to be a long one. Grab a snack, grab your tea. Let's go. Thanks for joining me. All right, so 2 or so weeks ago, Hannah and I went to the Yours and Ours festival in Wollongong. It is a 2-day festival, so we had to drive down and we got accommodation for 1 night. So we drove up on the Saturday morning, went to the festival on Saturday, stayed Saturday night and left on Sunday. When we arrived, okay, this is where I'll insert the first little clip. I will show you guys the room just so you can get an idea.
So we got here and this is the room. How fucking shit. That's it. This is it. We've got like a little tiny fucking sink, toilet, and then a shower.
Fuck me. Fuck me. It was Flinders Budget Motel and boy was it budget, my guy. Holy shit. Fuck my life. Like, it's the kind of thing where you drive past these motels all the time and you kind of think, who the fuck would stay there? Well, Hannah and I did. And I'm never doing it again. Holy shit. So upon arrival, you park your car literally right out the front of your front door. So where we parked our car, we could see the door to our room and maybe a meter, if that, next to our door was the door of our neighbors. So when we rocked up, we noticed straight away that our little outdoor area had no chairs. Like it had a table, but it had no chairs or ashtray like the other ones did. So Hannah was inside unpacking. I was outside at the car and I shouted into her and said like, oh, we've got no chairs. And the people next door shouted back, like, hold on. So they were inside, door closed, and they shouted back through the window saying, oh, sorry, we took your chairs and your ashtray, you can take them back. We couldn't see them, but it kind of opened that dialogue now where I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, they're obviously nice, obviously heard us complaining and, you know, just wanted to give us back what they took. Anyway, do you know what I mean? That kind of was where the beginning of the end started. Yeah, so that is kind of how we open the dialogue with these 2 men next door. Yeah, I don't know if I have any footage or like a photo or anything right now to show you how close the proximity of us staying next to each other was, but where we were sitting outside smoking, they were maybe 2 meters, if that, away from us where they would sit outside and smoke. It was that kind of thing where we were sitting so close to each other that if Hannah and I were having a conversation and they were having a conversation, we were literally talking on top of each other because you could just hear everything each other was saying. Does that make sense? I just need to give you a visual of the fact that, long story long, we couldn't really avoid them. So Hannah and I settled in. We got everything like sorted, unpacked, whatever. It was literally the size of a shoebox. So we did what we could with the space, but there was no lighting inside really. You know, there was like one of those white lights that you have at doctor's surgeries. So I went outside and took Hannah's little portable mirror, literally sat in the gutter, had the mirror and all my makeup up on this kind of like wooden, I guess like a bench top plant kind of, I don't know, it was like a fence, let's say, like a little fence that was near, it's kind of irrelevant, but while Hannah and I were getting ready for the festival, we were sitting outside. This is where my first mistake happens, okay? The boys come outside. I work in retail, so immediately I'm just like, hello, how are you doing? What are you doing here? Nah. No. So we're chatting to them, nothing crazy, asking them where they're from. They're asking us where we're from. Super relaxed, chill. These men were big, not really. They were Maori. That's not like stereotyping them. I'm just trying to give you a visual, you know what I mean? So they had a Kiwi accent, but pretty relaxed, super nice guys, whatever, kind of irrelevant. Shit started to get a little bit weird when one of them got a text and was like, I'll be right back. So he walks past Hannah and I down the driveway. He's gone for 20 seconds and gets dropped back into the car space in front of his door in a completely blacked out car. Jumps out and just sits down like nothing happened. So I think I'll insert now the text messages where Hannah and I message each other and she's like, what the fuck just happened? And I was like, bro, that was a drug deal. Great. Yep, cool. He just got drugs dropped to his room, or he dealt drugs. I don't really know. And to be honest, I still don't really know. So in this time we're getting ready for the festival, he's gone and grabbed or sold the drugs, been dropped off. And then Hannah and I are talking amongst ourselves and we're making comments because a few doors down we can see a group of girls, maybe 6 of them, coming in and out of their room and they're all going to the festival. So Hannah and I are talking to ourselves saying, how are they staying in a room this small with all of them? It's exactly like prison. At this point, we both hear one of them, his name was Cory. So the brothers, Cory and Vern. Cory makes a comment saying, this is nothing like prison. I never took the bottom bunk in prison. And we were like, he said it to Vern. He said it to his brother. He didn't say it to us. But we heard it clear as day and we were both like, what? So I was just like, oh, fuck. Like, cool. So Hannah and I go inside, have a little mini freak out, and then leave to the festival. I'm kind of rushing through this beginning bit because I feel like I vlogged this bit before the festival really well. So if you want to get a bit more of like a background on all of that, go and watch the vlog because I did vlog everything before the festival. But it's after the festival, which is what I'm about to get into, which gets scary, juicy, and just fucking plain old dumb on my part. Like, I'm so stupid. Boy, I'm so dumb. Thank God I'm cute because I'm a fucking idiot. Love that for me. Wow. How cute is this bra, by the way? It's old. It's from Bonds, but it's really cute. Irrelevant. Don't know what's wrong with me. How the fuck do people do these story times? Oh my God. I'm already so over talking. I feel like I've given a bloody TED talk. I'm literally only halfway through my notes, if that. Boy. This better get a million views or I swear to God, I'm off it. I'm over it. All right. So Hannah and I left to the festival and okay, this is probably where I should add that I drove us to the festival and I took my mum's car without asking. Listen, I know that's really bad. She left me the spare key knowing I was going to use it, but she didn't know that I was going to drive it all the way to Wollongong and park it out the front of accommodation where prisoners were staying. So the whole entire time, I am freaking out about my mum's car. So if you hear that coming up a lot, that's why. And it's mostly because mum didn't know that I took her car. So yeah, Hannah and I go to the festival and the whole time I'm freaking out about the car. I'm like, fuck, we've left it out the front. Like, that guy's from prison. Like, I don't know what he was in for. I just had a bad gut feeling. But, I should have just been relaxed at the festival because, boy, I was freaking out the whole night. I literally came down ill from how, anxious and on edge I was that night. But to make a long story long, we went to the festival and we arrived home around 7 in the evening, thinking that we were going to go clubbing. So Hannah and I were both dead sober, didn't drink, didn't do any substances at this festival. So by 7, we were ready to go. But when we arrived back to the accommodation, we were like, we heard Wollongong has bumpin' clubs, so we want to go out clubbing. Then we sat in bed for about an hour, and after discussing, we were kind of like, what's the point in going clubbing? Everyone in Wollongong is going to be at the fucking festival. You know what I mean? I think there was about 20,000 people at this festival. So the clubs are going to be dead. You feel me? So we sit in bed for about an hour. We're just looking through photos, having a chat. I'm vlogging. Once again, all of this is in the vlog. And then we are kind of like, Hannah mentions having a green tea or something. And I'm like, fuck. That's what I feel like, a green tea and Dart. Macca's was about, I don't know, a kilometre down the road. So Hannah and I decide, let's go and get takeaway green tea and snacks from Macca's and then come back, sit outside, have a chat, have some darts, and then go to bed later on. So that's exactly what we do. We get in the car, we're gone from the accommodation for maybe about 40 minutes. At this point, the boys are still sitting outside, they're smoking, they're drinking, and we're kind of feeling a bit on edge. We just don't really want to, we don't want to instigate having conversations with them anymore. Sun's down, it's a bit more intimidating. So we leave without really saying anything, and we come back with our tea and our snacks and go straight into our room. So we're inside our room and we're waiting for a kind of window where they go inside and we can go outside, sit there, have a cigarette, and, maybe like kind of assert dominance outside. We're like, no, you know what I mean? We do not want to be stuck in our room the whole night. This is kind of where I fuck up a little bit because I hear, which one was his? Yeah, Cory, the one that was in prison. I hear Cory on the phone to a girl. So my dumbass immediately says to Hannah, I want to go outside so I can vlog. Like, I want to see this girl. Like, if he's just been in prison and they're quite rough, I wonder what the girl's like, And Hannah's just such a little, like, this is why I have so much fun with Hannah, because this bitch would never be like, no, that's not sensible. She's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, yeet. Okay, hold on. I need to do a little disclaimer. So Hannah and I are very lucky. Like, we live in a very sheltered area of Sydney. We have been brought up amongst a really good family, really good friends. So when we think of drugs, when I thought of, potentially the drugs that these boys got dropped off to them, the drugs that they were selling, the heaviest drug I would have thought would have been Coke or MDMA. That's literally like probably, weed even is what I would have thought. Later on, we found out it was more like heroin and ice, which I will get into. But that's why when we heard that there was a girl coming, we were like, yeah, let's go out the front and see what the fuck's going on. Because we didn't think we would literally be with heroin addicts and ice addicts, which is a whole other ballpark in itself. So strap yourself in. It's about to get lit. So Hannah and I make our way outside. The girl doesn't arrive for maybe another 45 minutes, where we actually got along with Cory and Vern quite well. Do you know what I mean? They were super relaxed, really friendly. Like, they were a fair bit older than us. It was just, they were easy to talk to. Hannah and I had left the festival at 7. We were bored. So when we went outside before the girl came, this is when we realized that Cory was actually fresh out of prison and celebrating his freedom. So not like, had been to prison and has kind of, changed as a person. He got out of prison on Wednesday and this was the Saturday night. So it was the first weekend out of jail for him. So it did kind of put me on edge. Like, as they're talking about that, I think I have screenshots, or I think this is when Hannah and I were messaging each other being like, what the fuck is going on? If this is what I'm talking about, I'll insert screenshots as I go. I went through and got all of the evidence last night, so I'll insert it as we go, depending on when it's relevant in the story. But yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. Not to worry, got my notes. Where am I up to? Heard prison boy on the phone to girl, spoke to them, celebrating his freedom. Yep, okay, I know where I'm up to. So yeah, we're speaking to Cory and Vern. We have just realized that Cory has gotten out of prison on Wednesday and we have no idea for what, and we still don't really know. We kind of spoke to Vern later on and drugs was kind of all we really got out of him. So we don't know if he was dealing, whatever, irrelevant. So then this girl rocks up. My guys, thinking about her gives me PTSD. She comes around the corner full-fledged swinging. Like, oh my God, I need a burp. I just vomited. Yeah, this is going real well. Sorry, I need to relax, but I'm getting anyway. So she comes around the corner full swinging. Like, she literally wants a fight. She's talking about jail. She's talking about, I don't know how to, I'm going to insert a little video here. Hopefully you can hear her voice. So I don't want to like, you know, say anything and be like a bitch, but I just need you guys to hear her voice so you can understand what kind of person we were dealing with. So let's see if you guys can hear the voice in this clip right now.
My Tanya. Chase. Chase is getting back. I'm different.
So yeah, as soon as she rocks up, I'm kind of a bit like, regretting coming out here a little bit. She comes right up to my face and is fully like, you want to crack, you want to crack, you want to fight, bitch, you want to fight. I'm like, no, me lady, I don't want to fight at all. And here's the problem is that Hannah has a 12 grand nose. Hannah got a nose job. So if anyone's going to take the fall, it has to be me. We can't ruin Hannah's nose. So yeah, I was like, fuck, well, if she does want to fight, I'm going to have to be the one to fight. FML, this gray hair is really annoying me. Train of thought I keep losing it. I feel like I've been talking about this for hours. What notes do I have on this girl? Yes, pretty much. She just was so unlike anyone that I have ever met in my life. She was straight out of jail as well. She was a very young mother. She immediately asked us if we had a needle or a pipe. So that is kind of the first indication to where we were like, fuck, like they're doing legit, you know, intense life-ruining drugs. And immediately that put me so on edge. I'm really not good with drugs. I don't handle myself well around people who aren't, you know, of sober mind. It kind of freaks me out a bit because I don't drink or do drugs. So as she made those comments, I immediately just got tense and anxious and was like, I don't have a good gut feeling about this. I kind of think we fucked up by coming out here. So yeah, after she comes around just swinging, fucking absolutely like bull at a gate, like this bitch like squaring up. She WWEing, she's trying to, she's trying to fight. I'm like, sis, chill out. What the fuck? Like it is pitch quiet here except for her voice. Like, hey, you wanna crack, you wanna crack. And Hannah and I are just like, oops, like, we should not have come out here, my bad. So eventually after her just being such a headache, like, oh my gosh, she's running up and down asking all our neighbors where they've been to jail. She's asking Hannah and I where we've been to jail. Just so bad. But then she ends up going into the room with Cory, who is the brother from prison, and that's how they know each other, I guess, through prison friends. I don't really know. Whereas Vern, the brother who has never been to jail, didn't know her at all. Like the only person she knew was Cory, and her and Cory went into the bedroom. We assumed they were all going to have sex because it was like, you know, the first time you'd get to like have sex in however long they were in for. But no, they just went in to do drugs. Great. They were just shooting up. Not a problem. Fuck our lives. So at this point, I'm feeling so on edge because this girl is just so unlike the people that I surround myself with. She's asking questions about my mum's car. Like, whose car is that? She's looking in it. She's doing handstands on it. Like, just fucking so bizarre. Like, I'm literally like, what the hell is going on? So at this point, I'm kind of like, fuck this bitch, I want her to leave. She's putting me so on edge. I'm literally holding in a wee for like 2 hours now at this point because I was too scared to go inside. I didn't want to leave Hannah outside alone. I couldn't move because I was just like, you know, hanging out. I was hanging out because I was hanging out with 2 prisoners and Vern, who, no offense, really didn't give a shit about Hannah and I. So like, you know, I was just feeling that on edge. To make it worse, maybe 30 seconds later, Big Boss is what I call him, and Rat's Tail is what we're going to call the other one, come around the corner. So Hannah and I's little seating area, it had a stroke. What's new? Seem to be having them all the time on this bloody channel. So where Hannah and I are sitting is at the edge of like the kind of concrete balcony, which all the residents share. And in front of us is a massive, like one of those huge, like tip bins. Do you know what I mean? It's like metal and it's massive. You know, I don't really know how else to describe it. Like a dumpster, I guess, if you're from America, but like a really big one. And we are sitting here. I'm feeling so off it with this bitch. I'm like, sis, you better fucking get out my grill, get out my space. Like, oh, I swear to God, you pissed me off now. And as she's making so much noise, Vern and Cory are trying to say to her, if the cops come, we are going back to jail. You know what I mean? Like, they're still kind of on parole. They literally only got out this week. So everyone's trying to calm her down and be like, you need to shut up, because if anyone calls the cops, we're going back to prison. As they say this, maybe 20 minutes later, I see flashlights kind of reflecting off the dumpster, and it looks like people are walking up with torches. So in my head, I'm like, fuck, the cops are here. Do you know what I mean? And like, I would have been okay with that, but Hannah and I looked like such fucking accomplices. I was like, boy, don't take me down with you. Like, I'm too pretty to go to jail. You know what I mean? I don't want to get raped up in jail. Like, for the love of dear God, don't take me with you, bitch. Little bitch, I will square up. But lo and behold, it was not the police. It was some of their other prison drug friends. So there was Big Boss, who was completely silent. Like, you could tell that he dealt drugs for a living. He was genuinely, to him, drug dealing was a business. He was quiet. He wasn't making any noise. He was just observing, and you could tell that, like, any sign of cops and he would have been fucking on feet running. I reckon he had the most money to lose. I reckon that he was like the big boy, you know what I mean? And then there was Rat's Tail, who I think that Hannah and I have both said when we saw him, our heart literally fell through our vaginas, because like, he was the size of my pinky, so skinny, Rat's Tail, and just prison tats head to toe. Like, his neck, he looked like he hadn't eaten or slept in weeks. Like, absolutely terrifying. So when we saw them, I was like, no, like, you're kidding, dude. Like, fuck. So they all start talking to Cory, who is who they know. Me, Hannah, and Vern don't know anyone at this point, but Hannah and I are kind of laughing off the situation, joking with them, because now the guy with the rat's tail and the the prison tattoos are looking in my car. They're looking in our room, because we just had the fly screen door shut and then you could see into our room, because we didn't know we were going to be fucking put into a gang. We didn't know. We were just like, yeah, we'll go outside for a cigarette. You know what I mean? We went out for a cigarette probably around 9, 10 at night. And at this point, it's probably easily midnight. So we've been sitting out there trying to fend ourselves. That doesn't really make any sense. So yeah, at this point now we have Vern, not in jail, Cory, who just got out of jail on Wednesday, the two who are staying next to us. Then we have this girl who is literally on heroin. We have this rat's tail boy on heroin, and a Big Boss drug dealer, and Hannah and I. So they all go inside, they're shooting up, they're, doing pipes, whatever, like doing really intense drugs. And then, lo and behold, the black car that dropped Cory off at the very beginning of the story comes back, parks up next to my car, and the drug dealer gets out. He, to be honest, wasn't really an issue, in the sense that, like, he literally just sat down next to Vern and was super quiet, didn't really, like, even look at Hannah and I. He didn't pay any attention, but it was still the whole, like, blacked out car kind of number plate. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was so intimidating, because I was like, fuck, like, we got two Big Boss drug dealers all up in this joint right now, and Hannah and I just there like, does anyone want some green tea or salt and vinegar chips? Because this is what we're bringing to the table. You bring in heroin, you bring in ice. Who wants some jasmine green tea? You know what I mean? That's kind of the situation we were in. So it's now hitting this point where there's about 6 of them and Hannah and I, where I've had enough. Like, I'm not laughing anymore. I'm trying to make it really obvious to Vern that I don't want them to be there. So every time this girl is trying to crack a joke or trying to arc up at someone, I'm giving her the biggest dirties. I've started to message Sophie now at this point and have said, if you call the cops in Sydney, can they come to Wollongong? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you call the cops and you say that I'm in Wollongong, can you get them to us? I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I can get these people out of here, because I'm starting to feel super, super anxiety ridden, not just like being dramatic, but I'm feeling like, oh, I just hated it. I was so intimidated. I was so scared. They're all around the car. They're all looking in our room. They're all asking us how old we are. You know what I mean? Like, just, no, I hated it. But I think the positive of that was that Vern actually picked up on it, that Hannah and I were feeling super uncomfortable. And he said to Cory, his brother, in Maori, you need to get your friends to leave. So he wanted Cory's friends to leave, but not Cory, because him and his brother were trying to reconnect after Cory had been in prison. And yeah, so I was really thankful to Vern for that. He said, you need to get everyone out of here or these girls are going to call the cops. You know what I mean? Like, they're clearly very uncomfortable. Anyway, I can't quite remember what I was up to. I think it was, yeah, Cory and all of his mates leaving. So they leave and finally Hannah and I can breathe and we're like, oh my God, thank fuck. Like, whatever's up there was looking over us. Nothing happened. Nothing, you know what I mean? Just, we were super relieved. Nope, it only lasted about 5 minutes because then Mr. Rat's Tail comes back around the corner. I do have this bit on my vlog and he asks if Hannah or I have a license. Obviously, out of instinct, we're just like, no, even though I fucking drove there. But, you know, we're both like, no. And so he goes and knocks on Vern's door because Vern had gone inside to wee or something. And he was like, hey, does anyone want to come for a drive with us? I don't have my license. So boy's driven there himself, but then can't drive himself home and probably, nah, you think I'm going to be a drug mule, bitch? No, fuck that. No. Would have been great vlog content though. It really would. Yeah. Maybe next time. Like this video if you want me to become a drug mule. Okay, good. So after our final interaction with Mr. Rat's Tail, then Vern starts to open up to us about how his dad is actually, you know, a millionaire, and when they were raising Cory and him, that he never really gave enough time to his family, which kind of left Cory to kind of be a bit fucked up because he never really had that much direction from his dad. And, you know, Hannah and I kind of like started to feel a bit sympathetic for this Vern guy. Like, he looked out for us, you know, we felt really bad because obviously we are both very aware that prison and really heavy drugs, a lot of the time it is kind of your environment that shape you that way. No one really chooses to become a heroin addict. It's kind of the shit hand that you're dealt. Do you know what I mean? So Hannah and I are kind of talking to him. He's opening up to us. And then he gets a message from his dad. And his dad has Cory's location, like, find my iPhone. Do you know what I mean? So his dad is like to Vern, where is Cory? He's meant to be with you and he's not at the motel anymore. So now we're like, well, fuck. Shit, how good. So at this point, obviously, Vern starts to really worry. And Hannah and I are like, you know, we're worried too because we really like Vern. So Hannah takes down Cory's number and tries to call him on a private number to see if he'll pick up and tell us where he is. Long story long, that didn't work. And then about half an hour later, we ask the dad for the location again, and the location is inside Flinders Motel, but not at the room. So we're like, fuck, like he's got to be, you know, somewhere like on the premises, just not with us. So we get our little jolly asses up and we start walking around the driveways with Vern to find these fucking prisoners again. Like, are we okay? At this point, it's literally 2 a.m. and I am just like, bro, no. Yeah, so as a really unsatisfying ending, to be honest, we couldn't find Cory. We literally stayed up with Vern and, you know, we walked around everywhere. We tried to find him. We were listening out for sirens. We could still hear this girl in the distance. Like, she was screaming and just doing the most bizarre shit, like down the highway. I reckon it was echoing back into like our, like the gardens that were in the motel. So we could still hear her. So we were like, fuck, they haven't gone far. But yeah, long story long, we didn't find him. And it hit about 3 a.m. and I just said to Hannah, like, look, dude, I've really got to go to sleep because we had the second day of the festival in like 7 hours. So Hannah and I go to bed and I could not sleep. I was so on edge from the whole entire experience. And the whole night, Mr. Rat's Tail keeps rocking up the driveway in a car, running out, knocking on Vern's door, waiting there, running back into the car, leaving. He did it maybe 6 times and I am literally just standing at the blinds. Hold on, I'll show you. I was literally just standing like this. Just watching through the blinds. I'm like, boy, what you want? Like, I'm still manning my car even though I'm asleep. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get past me, boy. I'm watching. Pull up. You know what I mean? Don't even try. So it hits about 6 o'clock in the morning. We are dead asleep and we have set an alarm for 8. So checkout is at 10. We've set an alarm for 8 and at 6, Vern knocks on our window. I'm so pissed off. Like, I wake up, open the blinds. Keep in mind, I'm wearing only underpants to sleep. So I'm like, open the blinds. I'm like, what do you want? Do you know what I mean? Like, you've kept us up all night. What could you possibly want? So Hannah, because Hannah is literally so much nicer than I am, opens the door a little bit and she's like, what? And then he's asking her, oh, like, have you heard from Cory? Like, he didn't come home, whatever. Literally 5 minutes later, literally as we're talking to him, Cory rocks up in a van. So, like, you know, if he just waited 5 minutes, I would have been able to fucking sleep. Holy shit. But anyway, Cory did come home. So, yeah, Cory came home. The next thing I remember was hearing voices outside of our room, checking my clock, and it was 10 o'clock in the morning, which is when checkout was. And the voice was from the cleaners. So I wake up Hannah. I'm like, dude, we have to go. So we missed the second day of the festival because we slept through our alarm. We slept right up until checkout, and then we didn't have anywhere to get ready. Like, we hadn't showered. We didn't have our hair done, our makeup done. We didn't even have our outfits put together. So because we'd stayed up so late with these fucking guys, we missed the second day of the festival. So talk about an unsatisfying ending. Like, holy shit. And yeah, that's kind of all there really is to the story. I don't know if this is going to be interesting. It was so interesting because I was there, but now that I've retold it, I'm kind of like, it's a bit boring. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you'd like this kind of sit down video. I really want to do a boyfriend tag. I really want to do a boyfriend tag with Andy. I just think that'd be so funny and just so lame. So that might be the next video. Who knows? No, I'll hopefully vlog this weekend, hopefully. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was somewhat entertaining. I have a gut feeling that as I'm editing this, I'm going to have to put in heaps of clips of me kind of adding on information because this was a bit all over the place. But I love you guys anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.